What is going on, guys? The Balor Fan 85 here. I'm here with a belt buddy from down the road. I'm here with Eric. What is going on, Eric?
Man, I got no complaints. It's been a good day.
It's been a really good day, man. You ain't been here long, but we got to check out some belts. You've got some beauties. For the next few weeks, as a matter of fact, we're going to be sitting down with you, if you don't mind. We're going to see some of your cool belts.
Hey, I'm good with it. Let's do it.
All right. The first belt, and you know what? This is a man of few words right here. He is all talk, or he is all walk, no talk. Let's get into it. Short, sweet, to the point. The first belt we got, you're my favorite connoisseur because you've got kind of an expensive taste a little bit, don't you?
Some would say that. Yes, you could say that. Yeah, we'll just say yes.
So you've actually, and if you guys don't remember, we actually caught up with him about a year ago, I think. We got to review a couple of your belts. And that's actually, we're going to retouch some of those belts because you can never not touch up those enough. This is actually one you got after we caught up with you. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, this is probably one of the most beautiful belts I've ever seen. So without any further ado, this is the Leather Rebels National Title. So do you kind of want to give a backstory on this and kind of how you came into contact with it?
I got this from another collector.
Setting this up right here.
That was looking to get rid of some stuff to fund. I believe it was a Jmar belt that he was interested in. And we had talked back and forth. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to pull the trigger. He made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I took the deal. So I ended up with this one. It's a great belt. I love it. It's kind of a throwback from the old TBS wrestling days, maybe Georgia Championship Wrestling. It's sort of a mishmash of some things, and once I saw it, I was like, man, this is a pretty awesome belt. I'd been eyeballing it from a distance, and now I had a chance to get it, so I took it.
From what I gathered from you, this is kind of a concept belt for a promotion, correct? This was made for a promotion? Yeah,
a few years ago, back before Billy Corgan acquired the NWA. The NWA was going through some different phases. They ended up getting this particular belt made. This version is not the exact version that they had made, but this is pretty close. The version that they had made was on a black strap. Also a national title. Very same design. Instead of the crown here, it's the NWA logo. Again, it was on a black strap. So there's not but about maybe 3 or 4 of these in existence, maybe.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure if the NWA had one made, they probably had 2 made just so they could have a backup. And then the original owner of this, from what I was able to find out, that had this one made, had another one made, but his is dual plated. So it's pretty cool.
Are there any photos of the one on the black strap? I'd love to see it. That you're aware of?
There are some. I googled it just to see what it looked like on the black strap. I had seen some screen caps and some different photos. Maybe we can find one and and it's pretty cool. The colors are a little different as far as the blues that are being used. But I want to say that one was also nickel, like this one is. I want to say it was nickel. Also.
The nickel, in my opinion, I'm one of those guys. You know, when you grew up, most of your belts were gold, and even now most of them are gold. But there have been a lot of there's been an influx in belts of the nickel variety, of the silver variety that I've kind of fallen in love with. We just looked at the cruiserweight a while ago. That silver.
So that's a good one.
Any of the NWA belts, the NWA women's title. Shout out to Dan for that.
Yeah, that's a beautiful design. Yeah,
it's such a beautiful design, and a lot of your really good designs lately have been coming from the NWA. I'm not a huge fan of the North American title, but
no,
I can take it or leave it.
It's okay for what it is. I mean, it's got some throwback in it too. Not my favorite design.
Yeah,
but for what it is, you know, it's a decent belt.
But for the most part, if you're looking for cutting edge belts, you're looking at AEW. If you're looking for marketable belts, you're looking at WWE. If you're looking for traditional trophy belts, in my opinion, you got to look to the NWA.
Yeah,
and I think if they went with this design, it would have been right up there with the trophy belts. I know you see this all the time. And it's got to be, I know you got to know the feeling. Anybody sees a belt for the first time that you've had forever, and you get that satisfaction of knowing, I got a good one right here. These people, it's turning heads.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, that's definitely, without any more just talking about it, you want to get into it and start reviewing it? I know you've seen this belt 1,000 times a day for the most part, but let's get into it and see what we can get here. So, first off, I love the curve. You got to have a good curve on a belt. That's where WWE Shop fails a lot with their curves. That's where a lot of your, a lot of Ring of Honor. I'm not sure. I've never seen the New Japan. I've never seen their replica title, so I don't know what kind of a curve there is to that. But you cannot beat a good curve. So let's come over here. First off, you got the Leather Rebel stamp over here with a little ornateness. Now we were talking, and you said you think we're not entirely sure of this, but Leather Rebels may have done the WWE UK belt.
I know they did something. I think it was that one. I could be wrong.
I'm going to go ahead and say I think it may be true because you got these the ornateness to the Snapbox.
Yeah, the same.
I'm beginning to think that's the same
the
that was on the
that
was on the NXT UK title.
Yeah.
So you got your hand-tooled Snapbox. I love this. Is my favorite tooling on a Snapbox. I call it kind of the pebble.
It's pebble design.
Yeah, pebble, like pebbles on a beach or a lake or something like that.
Yeah.
This is a 2x, I'm going to say 5, but I always count. So 2x 1, 2, 3, 4, 2x5 Snapbox. Mm-hmm. You cannot beat, with any real maker, and even some boots do it, you cannot beat a hand-tooled Snapbox.
Yeah.
There's just, and I don't have a problem with the Snapbox.
No.
But sometimes you just got to have that, you know what I mean?
It gives it a different appeal, a different look, and just the hand-tooled look is... I'm good either way. I know Jamar would use, after a certain amount of time, he got tired of having the hand tool stuff. I know he used a stamp, which is,
Yeah, I mean...
It's not a big deal, but it's just, everybody has their different things, and I like, to me personally, the more hand tooled, the time that's put into it, it's a detail, but it's a detail that if you have an appreciation for belts, it's just something that you look for.
Yeah, if you're mass producing, I can understand... what WWE Shop does and stuff like that. But if you're hand making a belt for a customer, I just want to hand do it. I mean, it may take a little bit longer, but that's more of yourself you're putting into the belt. Again, I'm armchair quarterbacking because I'm the consumer. We're the consumers, so we can say, hey, put it in there.
Well, I will admittedly say I'm very particular about details. So
I can tell by some of the belts you have. You have some of the most unbelievable belts I've ever seen.
I'm very picky.
Yeah.
Some people would say bougie. That's not the case. But
I don't think this is the first time.
So I don't really apologize for that.
This is the first time bougie has ever been said on this YouTube channel, whatever. I don't even know if I've ever said bougie. Bougie. Okay.
There we go. Now we got it.
So we got the stamp right here. This is kind of a again, I can see this being on the UK title. It's kind of regal. This is something you said the owner of Leather Rebels was from overseas.
Yeah.
I can see this being from somebody overseas. You know what I mean? This is kind of like that crest.
Right.
Done. So I got to ask you this because you may have a little bit more knowledge as far as this than I do. Normally, when you see the clamshell tooling around the belt, it's that standard clamshell tooling. This looks a little bit different. Do you know anything about this, or is this just something... Because it's catching my eye. I don't even know if I'd call it clamshell.
It is clamshell, but the arches are a little steeper, if that makes sense. It looks like a different version because the tooling that is on my Winged Eagle is not this.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen...
So it almost looks more oval than it does...
almost kind of eggy.
Yeah.
The bottom part of an egg.
Yeah, it's more oval.
I've never seen that before. I actually really like it. I like when you have something smaller, you can put more there. So it looks like it fills up more space.
It reminds me of those old big windows that you see.
Yeah, the kind of the stained glass.
Yeah, like the way that it looks and with the little small designs, and you'd have to see it up close to really understand maybe what we're saying on that, but it's definitely a different design.
It also kind of reminds me of the top of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
So we're going to come over here to the first side plate, and you know what? I've seen your pictures of this belt. I'm not gonna lie, I've drooled over a lot of your. This guy's a professional photographer. I've drooled over a lot of your photos, especially of this belt. But I never noticed the stones on the belt, and I think that could be the nickel plating. The stones blend in with that nickel plating.
Yeah, we talked. I mentioned details, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, details. When you look at that kind of stuff, I noticed it when I first saw the very first picture before I ever owned the belt. I talked to the original maker of this through Facebook, and we were talking about different things. And one of the things I noticed when we had our conversations was we were talking about the details in the belt, like the stones and stuff like that. But I notice that stuff more now because I think I've been in the hobby since 2014. And I've learned a lot.
Yeah, I think we kind of came in we kind of came into the groups together, around the same time.
It's around the same time, yeah. And I learned a lot. I asked a lot of questions, but I also learned a lot by looking at a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
And details, and that was one of the things that I liked about the belt was the stones. It adds another detail to the belt that maybe it's kind of like today where you see a lot of stones, like you have the big logo belts and stuff like that have all these stones, but you also have this throwback of what this design is, and you still have stones on this belt. So it's kind of cool to still see that even with an older style.
Mm-hmm. And these are placed. These stones are placed. By the way, first we're going to get into this. The first side plate you got the crown, you got the stars around it. And talking about the stones, what I like about it, these stones are placed in different areas than I think you would normally see on a belt. There may be two up in the top middle or two over here. This is kind of like a cross design. You have one on each corner in the middle of the side that it's on.
Yeah.
This nickel plating, good night. I love this nickel plating, and I love the blue contrast to it. In my opinion, this belt is
really
the most. Yeah, it's one of the most appealing belts to the eye that I've ever seen. In that you've got the white stripe, the nickel, and the blue. It's almost like if I were to paint my living room the perfect mellow colors, I think I would do something like this. Just because it's like your eyes are sitting on a recliner for some reason. If that makes sense, it's so appealing to the eye. But you've got your crown. I love the crown. I really do. It's got a lot of and it's by the way, this isn't just nickel and blue. There's some bronze in here. I forgot about the bronze, and the bronze is so just kind of it's there, but it's not.
Yeah.
You don't realize it until you actually look at it. Yeah, so you have your crown, which is silver, and then you have that little chrome. You have that little bronze at the top of it. I love that. You got your stones again on each side of the plate with the 4 stars, and this isn't just blank space. Even in the chrome part, where most people would keep it kind of this would be straight chrome and everything. You've got some designs in your nickel plating right there. I want to say that's kind of a basket weave type thing.
Yeah, it does look a basket weave. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to call it that because I'm not sure exactly where to go from here.
It's close. It's pretty close.
But there's no wasted space. I mean, the only flat part to this to the side plate is just the blue, but I think that works.
Background. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For what it is, yes.
Yeah.
The details don't get lost. If some belts can be too busy, have too much going on, and you miss the details because I think when some belt makers try to make things too detailed to make it, make it look like they've paid a lot of attention to details, the details get lost. So it's kind of a wash. In this case, that's not the deal. You still see all of the details, and they're all highlighted and they're all still there. They don't get lost in translation.
Everything is simplistic in the most ornate way.
Yeah,
is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
So we're coming over here to the other side plate again.
Like even if you look at the stars, look at the texture on the stars, like those kind of things.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. So
that almost looks like a fingerprint on there. Does that you know what I mean? Like you've got the lines.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody put their fingerprint right there.
Yeah.
And it just, to me, I love that. So I would assume not the few belts there are of this. Those probably aren't the same. That is probably something done kind of by hand. You know what I mean?
It's very, very small detail,
yeah.
but it's on there, and there's a pattern to it. So
And this is on every
It's on all
star.
the stars.
Wow. I'm gonna hopefully get this to where it'll do it justice, because this belt is beautiful. And going into this next plate, this is something you don't see, and I love. So most of your belts that are world champions and stuff like that, you have a big lobe.
Yeah.
This is a national champion. So what do you have over here on the side plate? You actually have the seal of the United States of America. I've never seen that on a belt. It's freaky in the best way.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Having the eagle and the backdrop and its claws and it's has those branches and stuff. It's pretty
And by the way, no blank space. All in this center area with the seal. There's no flat spaces. There's texture everywhere in that, and I love it. Now again, the only flat or matte, whatever you call it, is the blue background. But again, nothing goes to waste on this belt. I cannot get over just how pretty this belt is. How pretty is not even a strong enough word in my opinion. I keep saying beautiful. You've got the seal of the United States of America on a belt. To me, that is America.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
That's crazy. But you've got the stones on each side. It's the nickel plating with the blue. Again, it's just that, I don't want to call it baby blue. What is it, powder blue maybe?
Some people call it Carolina blue.
Okay.
I'm not a Carolina fan, no offense, but
Go Dogs. Oof, oof.
yeah. So some people call it Carolina blue. I'm not really sure what you would actually call it, but it really just highlights the detail, just the way that the side plates are laid out and the color that was used. It really is a good contrast to really see the details in the plates.
Definitely. So we're going to come over here to the main plate, and do you know what I think when I see this main plate? One thing, and it's definitely the designs, I think of the Olympics.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, so we're going to go at the top. You said the top where the crown would be. If the NWA had bought this design and used this design, that would be the NWA logo, correct?
Yeah, when they had one made, instead of having the crown, theirs was the NWA logo, their new logo at the time.
And I can see that, because for this to be a national champion, and I'm going out on a limb here. I would assume over here with the crown maybe could be an NWA logo. For me, for a national title, if you got a crown, it kind of offsets.
There are some differences. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the details are on this particular side plate.
That's just me going out on a limb.
But I'd have to go back and look at it. But it was, I just remember when they had theirs made, it was their logo here instead of the crown. So
was it the? Do you remember if it was the red font or? That's more or less curiosity for me.
I think it was. I'd have to go back and look at it. But I'm not sure what the logo looks like at this point. But it was more NWA, and they had a little piece come off over here on this side. So.
Okay. So coming around here, first off, I love the border. You've got the same kind of basket weave around the border. I really like that texture. And again, we're calling it basket weave just because that's the only thing I can think of at the moment. Coming down here to the bottom, one thing I love about this belt, again, I mentioned a while ago, you've got your nickel plating, you've got your blue. Even highlighted more in this is that bronze. So you've got on each side, or let me come down here first to the United States layout. You've got that bronze around it. Just for some reason that bronze pops, in my opinion. Coming around on each side of the main plate, you've got, I'll call it a torch. I'm going to call it the Olympic torch.
Yeah, definitely torches.
Yeah, and then you've got the wreath around the grapplers.
Yeah, that's the Olympic style wreath that you were referring to. Yes, that was a very popular. I believe Hazard was doing a belt review with the WWF. Some of the older versions, and it had like this wreath design in there, so it was sort of a popular championship belt thing. So.
Shout out to Hazard F5, by the way. I love watching his videos.
His belt videos are top notch.
His history of are literally something. I can watch those over and over and over again.
That's where I've learned a lot, is listening to him, listening to other people. But as part of the design goes, that's really was a popular thing. So that's sort of a throwback to, I think, those times that they would use on belts. But anyway.
Yeah, and to me, when you look at it far away, you don't really notice that. But when you come up here close and you see the details, this is intricate. I mean,
It is very.
Leather Rebels. This is the first Leather Rebels belt I've ever seen. I can see why they were popular. They hit a peak for a little while. They were really popular.
They did.
They were right up there with Wildcat for a little while, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yeah, they were very popular. Did a lot of independence.
Excuse me. I see why now. This is 4 mil zinc, by the way. We haven't said that yet. But this is the thickest 4 mil I've seen in a while. I mean, this is just a good sturdy plates. It's got a good little weight to it. Coming again, you got the crown with the bronze. The bronze is just that it's salt and pepper to a steak. You know what I mean? It's just there when it needs to be. The national champion is in that blue, and if you hadn't have told me that, I would have forgot about the Tar Heels. Being Carolina blue. Almost kind of looks petty blue too. But on each side of national, you've got a stone. What I love about this, they didn't just put 1 stone on each side of champion, they put 2. And it almost looks like from here, the way the light's in it, it almost looks like 5 altogether. Because you have a couple of little designs above the stones that pop that much more because it's a nickel plating and it just shines. So it really, it's given a lot of value for not quite as much, in my opinion. Unbelievable. Again, you've got your stars, and they have that little design. You can see it way better here.
Yeah, it's a better.
Yeah, with the designs.
Yeah.
And the eagle, I love, hold on a second. Is that a stone for the eye? No, okay. No. That shows you the detail. You've got enough shine on this belt, and that's also an testament to you, because I'm sure you shine this thing up real nice.
I try to keep
any
it clean,
chance you get. Yeah,
most of the time.
I was going the rock there for a minute, but I wasn't doing. Yeah. I wasn't going to take the next part.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about that. Yeah.
No, but yeah, there's enough shine right here on the eye. I literally thought there was a stone right there, even just the smallest stone. So much detail in the eagle itself that you've got all the little feathers. You got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of feathers kind of on each wing. Mm-hmm. And one thing I told you about this, one thing I love about this belt is these wings come up over the strap. A lot of people, they don't want that plate to outreach the strap. I love this. I think that's the best part of the belt for some reason.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to say about the main plate? I don't know if you notice this. I talk a lot.
Oh, that's
so
fine.
Just feel free to push me out of the way if you got anything you want to say.
Man. No, I love doing these reviews and stuff like this because, like, you can tell that obviously Wayne's very passionate about belts. We both are. If you could have heard our conversations before we started doing this, you'd understand why I would say that. But no, I mean, like, one of the great things, and we were kind of talking about this before we started, is this is sort of a mishmash of a lot of different things. If you look back at some of the old Georgia Championship, maybe television title, just with some of the things that they pull from there, the actual layout of the belt, the old Jim Crockett national title with the United States here on it. So it's kind of a throwback to that, and just some of those things. To me, it's a really great design, the way that it's laid out. When I first saw it, I thought, hey, this is a really cool updated version, but also had a lot of throwback elements to it that you could appreciate for somebody that may not like the new designs as much, like the big network logo and those kind of things. They're okay for me. They're not my favorite championship design, but when you look at something like this and you see this, you're like, wow, there's a lot of detail is put into the plates, especially the main plate. I thought when I first saw it and I saw all of these elements, I was really drawn, honestly, to the torches.
The torches are a great piece.
Because when I looked at it, there's a torch on both sides, and because of the way the flame is, that's where the bronze is also.
That's one thing I forgot to mention. That bronze inside, it actually looks like a flame.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. To me, it's a great belt. I've really enjoyed it. You know, it's got a lot of detail. So it's a really great piece.
Yeah, you can't beat this at all. Like I said, I've only seen this in the pictures that you posted. I'm kind of glad it wasn't with us whenever we did the first reviews, because now sitting in here, and actually, because it was hot that day.
Yeah, it was a little warm.
It was warm. So I don't think I would have enjoyed it near as much as I have now, just sitting right here in the comfort of climate control.
True.
And just sitting down and letting the light hit it. Because like I say, you know, there are things hitting, the way the light's hitting that makes it look like there are stones in places that are not. And in my opinion, if you can have that quality to where it looks like that, that's a win.
It is. Design was pretty good.
I mean, everything, it's a basic design with a lot of ornateness, just the right amount of contrast. I gotta admit, I'm in love with this belt. This is something. The only thing, and let's go ahead and we'll finish out the rest of this review right quick. We're coming over here. Your side plates are going to be the same on both sides. So over here, and you've got the same thing. You've got a stone on each side. You've got the Carolina blue. You've got the stars. You've got that. And again, I still cannot get over. That may be another favorite part of is just having that U.S. seal on a belt. I don't know why that's popping me as much as I think it is, but it is severely popping me to the point where it just...
That's the national part of it, man.
Yeah.
That's just what makes it a national title is, hey, you know, it's America. We're in the U.S.
And so. I think it's the difference, too, because you have a crown on one side and the U.S. seal on the other.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, because you have two completely different... dynasties right there. I guess you call it dynasties, monarchies, whatever you want to call it. Yes, I don't know my politics right now. I'm sorry.
Politics, yeah.
Forgive me.
Yeah, it's fine.
But you've got the U.S. seal and you've got the crown. Over here, you've got and here's one thing I've harped on, Eric, and especially in the boot market, you've got this. So you have boots and you have what you call real belts. This is quote unquote a real belt. This came from a maker who was licensed to make what he made.
Yeah.
So one thing when you have those type of makers, one thing I know they're not going to skimp on are the stones.
Yes.
The stones, in my opinion, if you're going to put stones on a belt, unless it's a shop replica where you know you're getting the plastic stones, do not skimp on stones. I'm sure you'd be the same way I would. You pay a little bit extra for just, I can see the purples and the greens over here with the light hitting that.
Yep.
That is what you're looking for. I don't want to get plastic stones on any belt. If I'm going to pay what I believe are premium prices, and I'm sure you paid a premium price for this, you're going to want those stones. So that's just a nitpick I've got for a lot of belts.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it on, like you said, the network logos over here and everything because those are basic shop replicas. You're getting what you paid for.
Yeah, it's not quite the same.
Yeah, but this right here, this is real stone. These are real stones. I'm not sure exactly what they are, whether they're Swarovski, cubic zirconia, whatever, but they are beautiful.
I believe is what he used.
So again, another thing I really do love about it, most of your clamshell tooling, they start about right here, and they go to about right here.
Mm-hmm.
This maker went all the way from the Snapbox, all the way around. So you have a border literally all the way around from Snapbox to Snapbox, which I really love. And again, you've got this ornate design on this side too, and I love that. I really do think this guy made the UK title after seeing this, because I'm pretty sure this was on the UK title.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure. Coming over here, you've got 2x1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One thing I like about this is 2x5 on both sides. Normally you got a 2x8 or a 2x7 male to a 2x5 female. I just noticed he's got his stamp on both sides of the leather. Mm-hmm. Isn't it normally one side?
Usually, yeah. But he's also got, if you look, we were talking about this tooling, but if you look right here, he has a little, in all of this floral design, you have a LR.
Oh yeah, you do, don't you?
So it is a little bit more regal, but I do believe this is the same thing that was on the original.
I'm almost positive. Maybe not the LR.
UK. No, but the tooling itself, I think.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to the female snaps. One thing I do love, I've reviewed so many belts this year. There were boots.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will say, boot makers always screw up snaps. There's always tarnishment on snaps. This is the cheapest part of the belt to make, and they skimp on it. And they should not skimp on it. No. One thing I like about this, and I'm sure this is an attestament to you just keeping it polished, keeping it shined, these snaps are immaculate. I never thought I'd be a snap guy, but after seeing so many tarnished snaps, this is a breath of fresh air. I mean, just amazing.
Yeah, I try to keep those clean also.
So we're gonna go to the back end, and you know what? This is a. I'm not gonna lay this down on the table at all. We're gonna come to the back end. One thing I like about this is probably the thickest back end I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way. You cannot see the screws at all, and I kind of like that. This is sleek. You know what I mean? There's. If I were to turn any one of these belts that I have back ends over, you will see where every screw has been because they jut out or they anything. I don't even know if I can feel the screws, to be honest. Yeah, maybe you can feel a little indentation.
I think the leather also, when we're talking about the strap, this leather is a little thicker than what you would use for an average belt. So I think when he put this together and he put the bolts on and he sanded them down, he screwed it down pretty tight, and that's probably why you can't really tell. This is a different kind of material here also.
This almost feels like a vinyl.
Yeah, I think it's sort of a vinyl, so it doesn't really have the same properties of like a regular leather, backing that you get on a lot of belts. So that's one of the things I noticed when I first got it. I was like, man, well that's different, but it is definitely a different material.
I'll be honest, I love the way it feels though.
It's very sleek, yeah.
Yeah, very sleek. It doesn't have that roughness that you would get on the the leather backing. So we've kind of reached. We kind of went over this belt pretty well. The only thing I think I'll say, and this is more on me, we're kind of big guys.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind this belt being maybe a few inches longer. Maybe the plate's another inch wide by an inch long, or an inch tall, or something like that. That's just on me though. This is one of the most beautiful belts I've ever seen. As far as just again, you've got. It's literally like if I wake up in the morning and saw this color palette on my ceiling, I think I'd just wake up and feel right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
soothing.
Yeah, it's very soothing. This is spa music, to your eyes.
Yeah.
Just so beautiful. Everything about this belt. You've had this belt now for what, a year?
I think it's right at a year, something like that. Close to a year.
You can tell you've taken really great care of it. This is actually for sale, correct?
Yes.
Are you planning on selling this?
Yes.
Okay. We're not going to get into the details of the price and everything. I will say this. You're in about every group in the belt hobby.
Yep.
His name is Eric Green. All you got to do is reach out or look for this. Reach out to him. You got to have some references there. Just because we're on YouTube don't mean we're taking anything like Craigslist. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But this belt is actually for sale. This belt could go home to you. I gotta admit, if I didn't have everything we have right now, like we just bought that Austin Legacy belt, I'd jump on this.
That's an awesome belt too, by the way.
It is something. I'll give it that.
Very special. Some people may not be here on it, but I think it's a great belt.
But this belt, let me go ahead and just show it to you right quick. We'll do. Or actually, you know what? You want to do the shoulder thing and all that?
Oh yeah,
you
sure.
Put it over your shoulder, kind of fold it up, let them see the leather.
Yeah, see, there you go. Right
next to the black shirt, again, everything works on this belt.
It's a great belt. Details really pop too. And again, it's the colors, you know.
I love that blue.
Colors, details, just the legacy part of, you know, if you like eagles and stuff, hey, here you go. You know, this is a good way to get your belt with an eagle on it.
Yeah, and the leather, if you want to do the leather thing right here, we'll just kind of show. It's not too floppy and it's not too stiff. To me, this is just right where you need to be.
Yeah, it's not been abused or anything like that. It's not
folded like this. This is how it looks. Everything folds good.
Yeah.
This would be great on a shelf. This actually, and you have it sitting in a detolf, right?
I do. I have it sitting in a detolf with my other stuff. Yeah.
If there's any belt that I would consider a detolf belt, it would be this.
Dude, it looks great sitting anywhere, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can see this. I mean, just again, that is one of the most. NWA, you failed not going with this belt.
They did use it for a while. This was pre-Corgan.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
they did use
actually
it for a while. So, but again, you know, theirs was on black leather. I want to say it was all nickel. Blues were a little bit different. Obviously, the NWA logo versus the crown, but they did use it for a while. And like I say, I don't think that they actually had many of those left. As far as I know, belts of this design that actually literally exist in the world at this moment. At least 3, and I have one of them. So,
and it could be yours.
Yeah. So there's 3 that I know of. I would assume that there's probably 4, because I assume the NWA had 2 of them made. Most companies do, and then the original owner, and then he had an additional one made, if I believe is the correct person, because I have corresponded with him, I believe, and his was dual plated, where this one is all nickel. The dual plated is very nice also.
I think I'd keep all nickel though,
Yeah.
for some reason, which I haven't seen the dual plated. I think
Yeah.
I'd keep the all nickel though, because this is just,
It's amazing. And like when I take pictures, if you ever see any of my pictures, my stuff is always outside in the sunlight. So I'm an outside photographer. I just love doing it out there. There's nothing, you can't beat natural sunlight when it comes to belts.
oh yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I think we've touched on this enough. You got anything else you want to say about this belt before we put it out there into the ether and see if maybe somebody wants to take this home with them?
I don't think you'll be disappointed. You know, I would like to sell it to fund a different project, actually.
I'm kind of curious to know what you got. You may tell me off camera here,
I will
but
definitely tell you off camera.
I'm a little bit curious.
But this would be a part of that, being able to get there and get that particular belt made. But yeah.
Well, that sounds good. Well, that being said, I think we've got 2 more weeks working on some videos. So with that being said, we're going to start another one.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe as always, and we will catch you guys down the road.